Welcome. This is our podcast ministry here at Crossroads Aspen. I'm very excited to have some wonderful, awesome people here with me this evening. We just came out of an incredible evening of just praise and worship that we get together every now and then on Wednesday nights. I got Trenty and Tracy Terry over here sporting the green. That's very couple, green team. Nice. A lot of unity there. I got Mr. Casey Adams here. His wife is working hard tonight, so could not join us. But, we're just joining here together. Want to just talk about just our Wednesday night, our praise and worship time. Some amazing testimonies tonight that I'm just I was so excited to hear these. There's nothing like faith building to hear what God is doing. And then talk a little bit about G3. We're real excited. I know you guys have some stories about G3. But, maybe just share again, both of you guys, just some of the great testimonies, even just recently this week that we got to hear about tonight, just to kind of encourage us and everybody watching.
Yeah, so it's actually my wife's story. I was bragging on her tonight during our prayer and worship time, but just about how we need to be a people of prayer and go to Him first thing. He's our default, right? If we're truly walking after Him and serving Him, He's got to be our first thing we go to. In every situation, the Bible talks about giving thanksgiving, and it talks about coming to Him, in need. And so we just gave a couple examples of my wife and how she's done that in the marketplace this week. A couple fresh examples. She didn't know that I was going to share them, but they're just really great examples of a life of faith and a life of prayer. So you can go ahead and share it if you like.
But the thing that floored me was you got the message back from the friend you got to pray for it, saying, I'm healed.
Yeah, so I got to pray for a coworker, and I just felt like I needed to lay hands on her, so I did, and I think it was strange. But she texted me.
Is it right that she's not really a church person, not kind of into
She, I believe, is a Catholic.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't know, about the laying on of hands and things like that. And so I did that, and she texted me that night and said, "You healed me." Wow. Like, I feel 100% better. And she was at work the next day after not knowing if she would be there for even a couple more days because she had the flu. So, it was awesome.
Wow,
it really built up my faith, and it was awesome. Yeah, it was a great testimony for the Lord and what He can do.
Amen. It's fantastic. Fantastic. It's good, exciting stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Casey, you had some cool stuff to share. What's going on with you?
Well, tonight was such a great night for the praise and worship Wednesday nights, and I could see it starting to grow. But what I think is great about it is it's more of an intimate setting. Mm-hmm. And I know there's a lot of people in our church that, they just don't get a chance to speak.
Absolutely.
And for me, coming from nothing into a born-again spirit less than 3 years ago, standing up in front of the body is very powerful, but it's also scary.
Yeah.
So tonight, people can get up and pray, and it's a very relaxed, open environment, and I think that's a huge draw.
It's wonderful.
For everybody. I encourage people to come that really want to speak and pray and open up to others and really hear their voice outside of their own prayers. It's helped me a lot.
I started this morning just being so encouraged at our Forge, our men's study. We just a great time of sharing of what God was doing among the men. And just one of the guys got up and for the first time just gave a testimony of what God's never spoken before, men before, about God and God in his life, and really a testimony of fasting for the first time in his life. It was
nice.
It was a good way to start the morning, that's for sure. So guys, talk to me a little bit about just the vision and just the community. What obviously it's our ministry team here at the church that is using Wednesday nights to just grow in community themselves, to get trained and press in to be able to really serve on our ministry team, but also just serve each other, and then call the church in at special times. Anybody who wants to come in to join, to be ministered to worship, to pray together, but share a little bit about just kind of your hearts for that and why you're a part of that and why people should come.
Yeah, I think like what Casey was saying, and it's so cool to just have an atmosphere where, if you come up and you got a word for me, I'm not gonna reject it, even if it doesn't bear witness. I'm gonna allow you to give it, and I'm gonna high five you because it's an act of faith, And when we move in faith, it pleases God. And that's kind of our heart and our vision for these open Wednesday nights, for people just to come and just have hearts of worship and going after God, but also in prayer and just trying to hear his voice. Some people maybe never pray out loud before.
Right.
This is a good chance to come and practice that and, practice prophesying. And
Man, in just a
that's where
great
it's
way.
at.
I thought you just led so well tonight. It was just wonderful. The worship time and just, leading out, just leading us into the presence. It's nothing like having time just to rest with each other, right? And just have time, crazy, busy schedules, and enjoy the presence of God, right? And let him speak. Trey, you had something, I think.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, practicing. You have to practice the gifts of God. Like, you have to practice the Spirit. You can't just expect that you're going to prophesy over somebody on the streets if you won't do it in your home church.
Right.
If you don't do it with people that you trust and who trust you and who will allow you to fail and maybe give you a wrong word, but know that at least you're trying. Right. So, I don't just naturally pray for people. It's intimidating. But doing it once and hearing back, and then doing it again and hearing back, and now it's like you kind of build up those faith muscles. But it takes practice, and this is like the safe place to do it, where you can fall on your face and you're not going to get judged.
It's fantastic. So, maybe somebody's watching again. Wow, all that just sounds like a little overwhelming and kind of new to me. Well, just talk to that person. Why, that is free to come and just relax. There's no force. It's nobody's forced to do anything, but just to receive, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can come and lay on the floor. You can pull up a chair. You can pray, worship, whatever that looks like for you. Take communion. Go to the back of the room. Come to the front.
And I think the first time a couple weeks ago when I came, I was just so tired from the day. I just kind of sat there and just had to receive. It was just a restful. I need time to be encouraged by the prayers of other people, and the ministry of other people was wonderful. Anything to add to that?
Yeah, well, that's what I expect. Sunday, I know I'm coming to Praise and Worship Wednesday. It's second Wednesday of every month. And I know I'm going to be beat up. I'm going to be banged up by the time I get my behind there at 6 o'clock. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know it's a good environment. Yeah. And I know once I settle and unwind, the Spirit, I'm going to hear the Spirit, and I'm with other like-minded people, believers. And exactly that happened. I showed up. I was beat up. But you know what? After leaving, I'm energized. I have the power from Him flowing where I got to turn the world off. And we're subject to the world. We're in it. But at 6 o'clock, you can pull the plug and just hang out, pray, worship, talk. And one of our brothers, he was just having a conversation with God. Yeah. We were just sitting there kind of listening. He wasn't necessarily praying hands up. He's just conversing and working it out. And, those things are happening all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, boy, what a great place to come. Just if you want to learn how to pray, be with other people that are praying and receive. It's wonderful. Well, let me shift gears a little bit. We got G3 coming up a couple weeks. G3 is our G3 gathering. G3 is our Grace Growth Greater Things. This is the one time you would come together as a church to worship, to learn, to encourage each other. It'd be Friday night, Saturday morning, Saturday night, and Sunday morning, obviously in church to wrap it up. We have Matt Chandler from Village Church Dallas. Amazing opportunity to have Matt with us to speak to us. Michael Miller from has been with us every G3 actually, and several of our partners. I think some of the folks from Crestview, OB Joyful are coming. We obviously have our Glenwood, Tim and Marina, O'Keefe's. We have some Sandbox folks from Houston here, and several other friends from Houston, and just who are connected to us seasonally and other churches and things. It's always just a great weekend to be together. But I just wanted to. You guys had a great testimony. I think that was, if I remember right, on that Sunday morning of maybe it was the first G3 that kind of got you kind of that next step into the community of the church or something. But you want to share any of that with us?
Yeah. So anybody that lives in and around Aspen knows it's a tough place to find community and to find your people. Right. Our testimony is that we moved here from Iowa, and we came from a really, really great place, and the church was just really close, and we had our home groups, and had all that going, and we came here, and it was like we couldn't find our fellowship, we couldn't find our people, and we bounced around from here and a couple other places, and we were just like for the first few years that we were here, it was difficult to connect, and we came here occasionally, and I was out of town, and Tracy came that Sunday morning. Was it 2 years ago?
I think
probably
3 years.
3 years ago,
Yeah,
yeah.
3.
And she called me and she said, this is home. Like something has shifted in this place, and this is home. And so that's kind of our testimony of how we came to Crossroads, and we have found our tribe now. And it was from that, and then Forge. Man, I'd never played the guitar or done worship maybe one other time in my life, and then I felt like
Awesome.
doing it at the men's group one time, and
Now you're on the worship team.
now I'm on the worship team. But it was just, but it all stemmed from that G3 weekend where we just kind of started connecting, and now, man, we've got our tribe. We've got a couple families that we're in relationship with. We're doing life with, and it's so awesome. It's important.
Fantastic.
So.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Case you have a testimony, like a healing testimony, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it was my first G3, Steve, and coming to Crossroads Church, it was my first year in the church. I'm growing, I'm walking, I'm stumbling, I'm seeking, and, I'm finding. And G3 was promoted family. You want to come and be with the family. Yeah. So the atmosphere is a little different, but it's just open. Here's your people. We've got time. We're not just in and out for a service. So we're in G3. I'm there. I'm signed up. I'm front row, and Jack Deere is there. And I have not met this guy, but he is a powerful man of God. His testimony is great, and he had a moment that he opened up the floor to healing, and he raised his hand and put out healing. And I'm believing. I'm okay. God says believe. All right, I'm in it. And a few weeks prior, I'm playing water polo, and I get kicked in the ribs, and I'm talking about heel up into my ribs, and I'm in a bad place. And I'm standing there, and I'm receiving. He's healing. He's putting out the power of healing, and I'm not lying, Steve. I felt my rib move, and it just awesome. It quieted me there. And after he finished up, he said, "Did anyone receive it?" And I just said, "Praise the Lord."
That's awesome.
2-3 days later, I'm back in the field doing what I do.
Fantastic, man.
That's awesome.
I didn't know there was water polo in Aspen. Well,
Wednesday nights. Wednesday nights. Water polo? Come here. If you want to be safe, come here. If you want to get beat up, go to the Ark, 6 o'clock.
That's awesome, man. Hey, just to wrap things up, just why should people show up at G3? I take a weekend to come be a part of this. Any thoughts on that? Say to people.
If you have any questions about who God is, what He does, what His people do, come to G3. Come to G3. If you want more, if you think you're like, okay, I'm kind of getting tired of the same old thing, I keep letting myself down or others, or I'm just getting complacent. And hey, what's that guy doing? What's different about him? It's the Spirit. Come to G3. Find out. Wonderful. And hang out. Come hang out. Spend the 3 days. Get to know. Mm-hmm. I think I left with 20 new friends after
Beautiful.
G3.
And one of the things I want to say first off that I love about this church is we're not a big conference, is this and that a bunch of times a year. This is kind of our one time a year that we gather with other people from around the country. And, man, I think it's vital to link arms with other brothers and sisters who are doing things out there, who maybe stretch us a little bit, get us out of our comfort zone. And I think it's just it can be a real launching point for us as a body, as Crossroads, and just going out into the world.
That's it. It's awesome. Anything, Dad? Tracy?
Yeah, I was just following on the heels. He pretty much said verbatim what I was going to say, but we're supposed to be stretched. We're supposed to be growing constantly. If you are a Christian and you're not growing, there's a problem. You need to look and figure it out. So we need to get together and stretch each other. And sometimes it's uncomfortable. But we need to be stretched. You have to be stretched to grow. And so you can come and hear people prophesy, hear people speak in a way that you haven't heard before, and allow that to grow you into, who God wants us to be. We're supposed to go from glory to glory.
It's fantastic. And boy, we have, Matt Chandler with us again from the Village Church, who's, a man of the Word. And so there's going to be some amazing teaching to come along with all that. So, well, thank you guys. Thanks for taking the time, and thank you all for tuning in to On Air, our podcast ministry here at Crossroads Church. And we just really look forward to G3 coming up. Hope you'll come join us. God bless.